Alright, welcome everyone. This is a video series I've been planning for a while now to make. We're going to make a fork of crawl, just for us. All the changes that we want, and none of the changes that we don't want. So I've gone ahead and forked from the mainline crawl, and let's go and download, or make a local copy so that we can edit it. So git clone depth 1 https://github.com world crawl consortium. Pretty sure nobody has reserved that. And I've named it acrawl. We all love bcrawl, but I want something a little towards the more beginning of the alphabet. So here we go. cd acrawl. And here we have a blank slate. We're right up with master on the mainline crawl. And we can start making edits. So what do we want to do? So the first thing that comes to mind is Feloids. Everyone's always complaining about Feloids. And what I've learned from our developer role models is if something's weird, you just remove it and get rid of it. So that's what we're going to do. So let's begin. Let's do grep rl Feloid, and then pipe that into sed tech I s/Feloid. And what we want to do, well, we can't just get rid of Feloids. I mean, we are. Let's make them Feloids. That's good. Feloid. What? Oh, we also need xargs. So this is kind of going to be a tutorial series. So you're going to be learning Git, you're going to be learning C++, including me. I don't know C++, but we're going to do it. We're also going to be learning Linux commands, which I do have a good grasp of. So grep, global regular expression print. This is going to print recursively, so it's going to go through the entire this folder basically. And then it's going to print out just the file name of anything that includes the word Feloid in it. And we're going to pipe that into xargs. So xargs takes each line of input that's piped into it, and it puts that into another input, which is going to be sed. So sed is another regular expression thing. We're going to replace all instances of Feloid in each file that we give sed with Feloid. We're going to have to do this a couple times. You're also going to learn in the series about the crawl internals, obviously, since we're modifying crawl. So let's look at what that did. Git status. So we just changed literally everything. Let's do git diff. So Feloids, they removed the jump ability. Man, somebody should do something about that. Alright, so that changed everything. So the first thing that we're going to look at, well, we should still do stuff here. So we just did uppercase, let's do lowercase. And we'll also have to do, well, we can check that out first. So in crawl ref source, is it source? Is in dat? Not dat. So dat species. So each species in crawl has a thing here, a YAML file. So our change propagated here. So when we make Feloid changes, we're going to have to edit this. So you'll notice there's a SP Feloid and a Mons Feloid. So the SP Feloid is the species identifier. So an enum in programming is basically an alias for an integer. So the special thing about them is that you don't actually have to keep track of them. They like increment themselves. And then this Mons Feloid identifier actually applies to in-game NPC monster Feloids, such as Natasha. So we need to change both these values because Feloids don't exist anymore. They're Feloids now. We're going to also change the adjective to feloin. Feloin is good. Alright. So SP underscore Feloid and Mons underscore Feloid we're going to have to change. So let's go back to our thing here. Let's do SP underscore Feloid. SP underscore Feloid. Then we're going to search for SP underscore Feloid. So I think we might be able to do this all in one shot if we just left off the SP part, but I want to do it this way. We're also going to do Mons. And you'll notice that that file that we looked at in dat species Feloid, we need to change that to Feloid. So there's a number of Feloid files that need to go. So let's move this. I just did Control E to go to the end of the line and bash. Crawl, source, dat, species, Feloid.yaml. And then if we do find tag name Feloid, I think this will work. Let's pipe it into less just in case. So it won't work. Okay. Oh, no matches found. So I said I was good at Linux commands. That's not necessarily true. Okay, here we go. So we also need to rename these files. Let's put those out on the command line. So we need to rename each of these to go from Feloid to Feloid. And this is a folder. So let's move crawl ref source rl tiles player Feloids to crawl source rl player Feloids. I would copy and paste, but I'm in Xterm, I think. Yeah, and it's complicated. You have to do like shift insert, and that's for paste. I don't actually know how to copy. Let's do the rest now. Move crawl ref source rl tiles player transform statue form Feloid. So here you're seeing some of the internals for the graphics of crawl. So there's individual tiles for when a Feloid does a lich form and statue form, and we're editing those file names now. Crawl ref source rl tiles player transform statue form Feloid.png. And then our last one is lich form. Oh, we have to do this froggy GIF Feloid as well. So let's just do lich That should be good. And then the last one, move crawl source dat tiles title underscore froggy Jivia Felid. Let's rename that to crawl source dat slash tiles title underscore froggy Jivia Feloid. Alright, and let's redo our find command again. Just make sure that we got everything. Yep. So that is the last remnants of Felid in the game. So we've exterminated all the Feloids. We now have Feloids. Much better. A+. Now, what do we want to do? So they can't just stay the same, right? Because then people would hate Feloids. So let's start by... actually, let's first get status. Why are those files untracked? Oh, I know why. So git itself has a rename. So if you do git move, it'll actually track the renaming rather than just a deletion and then creation. But I'm dumb and I forgot that. Do we want to... Let's actually... No, I don't mind. So let's git add tac a, git status. So, oh, it did actually work out the renaming. Okay, so let's git commit tac m. This will be our first commit. Let's see, remove Feloids, add Feloids. I need to tell you who I am. Git config user.email sushi.gaming@outlook.com, user.name. We are the World Crawl Association Consortium, I said. World Crawl Consortium. Alright, now we can git commit. Everything worked. Alright. So if we do git log, we're not seeing the rest of the commits from the main master branch of crawl, vanilla crawl, because we did a depth 1 when we forked, or cloned rather, and then we see ours right here. So if we actually go into crawl ref source, we can do a make tiles equals y, and then it should go, except for we need to do utils / release ver. So I've looked into this format before. Release versions of crawl need to follow some format. I can't remember what it is, so we're just going to do something random like that looks good, probably. Cannot open file for writing. Why not? What? Oh, what? Q, bang. Did that work? Oops, what? Oh, I know why. Utils. Let's see. Why does my up and down work? Vim util / release underscore ver 0.1 tac a. Alright, now, so crawl doesn't actually track util / release ver, so it's different each time. It's supposed to be populated from Git somehow. I don't know how that works though. So let's try to redo our make. Make tiles equals y. And this is actually going to take a while, so I'm going to pause the recording and then we'll come back. Actually, we'll need to do even more than that, I think. This is going to stop at some point because we haven't done all the Git submodules stuff that you need to do to install. I'll actually stop that now, and then we can do that. Let's actually check it out ourselves here. So in crawlref install, it tells you how to build crawl. Most people don't know how to read this because most people aren't programmers, but this part's important. There's also all this stuff. So you need all this. I have this installed already because I've been making other videos where I've compiled crawl rather, but we need to do this in our library or whatever here. So we're in source. I think we need to go up, and then we can do that. So I'm on xterm, so I think I can do shift insert, yeah. Git submodule update init. So this is going to pull down all the external crawl library whatevers, and fail for some reason. Du tag h. Oops. df tag h. Okay, so I'm out of space in my thing. It might work anyway. Well, I'm going to need to fix this. I'm going to pause the recording here. Alright, I'm back. I've cleared some space. So that's one of the reasons why we did depth 1 when we clone this repository. It's so that we wouldn't have to pull every single commit ever made, of which there are like thousands. And now we have space. So git submodule update init. There you just saw all the stuff I did to remove stuff. What? So this is all messed up because I cloned it without space. Yeah, that's fine. And then, so I'm going through now and deleting the contents so that we can try again. Image. So I'm not deleting the directories themselves, I'm just deleting the files in them and the directories recursively. Don't try this at home, kids. SQLite, QLite. Because you might delete your root by accident. So let's try that again. Git submodule update init. You monkey. Where is it? Find name git ignore. What? rm crawl ref source contrib sdl2 image git ignore. Let's try it again. Alright, so we've done our git submodule update in it. So now we should be able to build, if we couldn't already, which, I mean, we didn't try, but trying, yeah. Make tiles equals Y. If you wanted to do your web tiles, you would do web here, but we just want normal local tiles. So let's run. So it seems to be going all right to begin with. Another thing you could do, if you're not in a virtual machine like I am, you can do TAC J2 or J3, however many CPU cores you want to throw at compilation. But I didn't, so this is going to take a while. So I'm going to cut the recording here, and we'll be back once it's done compiling or it errors out or something. Alright, so we're back, and our make has failed. We didn't replace all the mons Feloid that we needed to. We replaced it some places, but not all places. If you remember when I was typing in our xargs, I thought about adding a G here, and I didn't. A G would be global, so the same kind of global in grep. But we would have replaced every instance of it on the line. See, we replaced the first one, but not the second one. So I'm just going to run this again, and then hopefully it'll sort itself out. Even running, yeah, see? So now we got all the files. And we're ready to make, so we're going to start from mon util, and then it's going to keep going. So I'm going to pause the recording again, and I'll come back once it's done. Okay, so everything has finished compiling. Now we can try it out. So we've got this crawl here. Crawl. So that opened there. I'm going to send that to my fourth workspace. So let's do YouTube. We're going to create a crawl game, and you'll notice that under Y we have Feloids now. Feloids are many-lived cats possessing sentience. That's great. Y, E, let's try it out. This is a cool map. Cool starting area. So, one thing, we just fought like 3 enemies and we didn't take any damage. Like, so I don't think we need all this health. Let's quit. And then let's go over here and actually first let's so we made some changes to some more files due to we did, didn't we? We just did more grep stuff. I thought we did. Oh, it's in mon h, or mon data h. So git add tag a, git commit tag m, really remove Feloids. Alright, so here's a cool git thing that a lot of people find horrifying. Git rebase head to, or what? Git log. Oh, I need tech I think. Alright, here we go. So, this is scary. So, what we're going to do is combine these commits, since really they do the same thing. We don't need 2. We need 1. Because it would make it hard to remove or undo if there's 2, when really it would be nice to undo 1. Not that you'd ever want to add back Feloids, but it's good programming practice. So if we look at the options here, so these are both marked as pick. That means you keep them. So if we wanted to change the commit message, we could do reword instead of pick, and then we could edit this. We're thinking about squashing them. We would be squashing this one into this one, So you'll notice that this top commit here came first, and then this one. So these are in chronological order going down. So we want to squish this one into this one. So we will be marking this one as squash. I think there's another option though. Use commit but meld. Okay, so we're going to do fix up here actually. So like it says, it's like squash but discard this commit's log message. So we don't really need this log message. It is what's the word? Redundant? Okay, so fix up, Control WQ to write and close. Now if we go into our git log here, you'll notice there's only one commit that we've committed. And I think the commit thing, well obviously it would change, but that's another important point if you have things referencing that. So now that our changes have been made, let's actually go through, and we said we were going to do something about health. So vim dat species Feloid. So we just had a fight and we didn't actually use any health really. So I think we can get rid of some of it. I mean, if you're playing optimally, you wouldn't be losing health in the first place. So any health at all is a luxury. And I'm going to take some of that away. So this -4 HP means that they lose 40% of normal HP. So what Feloids have is 60% HP. So half of 60% is 30%. So we need to subtract another 3 from here. So we're going to do -7. All right. And I think that's actually all the changes we need to make. I don't think we actually have to modify. Actually, we probably do. I'm not sure where it comes in though. But let's try it out. If we do Feloids, yeah, we still have 10 health. So I'm not sure what actually puts that in the binary. So we're gonna have to make clean so what this is doing is removing all the output files, and then we're gonna make tiles equals y. So this is hopefully going to be the last time that we have to do this. From here on out, when we make changes, we're only going to delete the out file that we made the corresponding changes to in the source code. So crawl is written in C++. They have file extensions .cc, and then there's also these .h files. So when it compiles, it C++ is outputting these .o files, and then eventually it's going to combine them all into the normal crawl binary, which turns out to be like 12.7 megabytes. But we don't need to delete all of these if we make one change in one file. We just need to delete like the output file and then relink it. So you're going to see that in the future. I'm going to cut here again since it's going to take forever to build, and then I'll be back soon. Alright, so we just finished compiling crawl, so let's try it out. Crawl. We'll do Feloid Berserker, and now we have 5 health, as all things should be. Alright, so that's perfect. Let's exit out of here. We'll go back and look at our git status. So I feel like this is going to be annoying, but I don't know how to fix it. So let's git add dat species Feloid, git commit nerf Feloids, and then that should be good. So now we can move on to our next change, and our next change will be So cats are small, right? Like feloids, and they walk on the ground. I don't know if crawl specifically gives feloids the small attribute. We can actually check that out. So let's vim dat species feloid small. So I don't think it actually gives them the small attribute. Oh, size a little. All right. So what does that tell you? They're small. They're on the ground. That to me says they should have trouble walking through water. And in crawl, species already have trouble walking through water. You occasionally fumble your attacks, and you also get a slowness effect. But if you're so little that you're underwater, and cats don't like water to begin with, I think that Feloids should be engulfed in water. So the same as when you're being attacked by a water elemental. It should be like that. So let's edit player.cc. So this is one of the locations that we're going to have to edit. Let's go to here first. So right now we're in the move to location effects function. So this handles when you use your arrow keys or your V keys to move. And based on where you were before and where you are now, up here, certain things will happen. For example, terrain effects. So the is feet dangerous returns whether the new tile you're on is lava or deep water, and if so, you fall into it. And that's how you drown if you're confused or if you confuse someone else. But that's not where we're going to make our changes. So we want to do shallow water. So here's where that's done. So this is checking if you're flying or not, or if you're on ground level. I don't know exactly what that entails. But if you're stepping on water, if you haven't stepped into water before, you make a splash. If you can't swim and you can't walk on water, so you're not at 6 pips of BO piety, and if you weren't in water before, so you enter water, and if it's shallow, it's shallow. If it's deep, it's deep. If it's deep water and you weren't in deep water before, it says you sink to the bottom. If you weren't in water before, you get a message saying that moving this stuff is going to be slow. So what we want to change is going to be right in here. So Feloids can't swim, or Feloids, my mistake, and they can't walk on water either because they can't worship Bio. So let's make our changes here. I actually need to put in spaces because it'll mess it up. So if u.species equals sp underscore Feloid, so if you're playing as a Feloid, and u.duration water hold equals 0. Need to add in spaces again. u.duration water hold equals 10. So what does that do? Oops. So if you are stepping in water and you're a Feloid and you aren't currently engulfed, set the duration of your engulf to 10. So we don't want to mess with if you're already engulfed, because you're already engulfed. So if you're fighting a water elemental in water, you're already going to be engulfed, and the water elemental is going to do its thing with this water hold. So we only really need to apply engulfing if we're not already engaged in a battle. So crawl handles a lot of durations. if you kind of think about it while playing, you'll realize that a lot of stuff in the game lasts for a while, and that's all done by this u.duration array. So we're editing the dir water hold array index, and we're setting it to 10. So for 10 or 10.1 watts, you will be engulfed. And that'll happen every time you move in water. It'll also happen if you rest in water, I believe. So that's good. Actually, it doesn't handle if you're resting, but that's what we're going to do next. So let's go to 4390. Far engulf. Okay, so here's where your engulf status gets cleared. See, here's the end of the water hold. So normally, crawl is currently set up such that if you're held by water, it's because an enemy is doing it. So that enemy value is stored in this water holder property. And that's so that when you die from it on your morgue file, it can say you were killed by this monster because it drowned you. But since we're going to be able to drown players without actually having a monster do it, we're going to need to edit that such that it doesn't need a monster value. So let's add something here. So if u.species equals sp underscore Feloid, and where's the end? And env.grid u.pause equals dngn shallow water and u.end not u.airborne. Then what should we do? So if you're in water, engulfed, and you're standing in shallow water, and you're a Felid, and you're not flying, that means that you should still be engulfed. So we're going to return false. So this function returns false if the engulf status is cleared, and true if the engulf status, or the other way around. False if it isn't cleared, true if it is cleared. And if it is cleared, it calls this end water hold, which sets the duration to 0 and erases that monster value. Alright, so that part's done. So let's grab this condition here, capital V, Y to yank, and then we're gonna go to the function handle player drowning, not too far away, and this is where you actually take damage from drowning. So this also relies on this water holder property, but as we mentioned, you won't necessarily have that if you're being drowned by water with no monster. So we're going to use this conditional here, the same one that we had before, and if we're engulfed because we're in water, we're going to do one thing. If we're engulfed because of a water elemental, we're going to do another thing. So let's add an else statement, and the original result here is going to be the else. So we want to take damage, but really we can't take that much damage. If you didn't know, you take a lot of damage from drowning. So let's reduce that by half. Half? Yeah, I guess half is good. and then killed by water. So now if you're drowning, you still get this message that your lungs strain for air, and you also take damage. If you're drowning because you're in shallow water, you take less damage. That's to account for like walking through water while you're in the early dungeon. Like, water elementals don't spawn usually until like D12 or something, plus in lair and swamp and whatever. So this amount of damage could easily kill a normal character on like D1, and you can't optimize out of that, you know, so we have to reduce it somewhat. So now it should be a reasonable amount. So let's write this, and we're also going to rm player.o, and then now when we actually, let's do get status, get diff player.cc. Let's look at these changes we made. So we made changes to when you move onto water, you now get the duration water hold. We made changes to clear, far, engulf. So if it's trying to clear your engulf status while you're in water, don't do that. And we made changes to handle drowning, such that there doesn't have to be a monster that's engulfing you, and you take reduced damage. So let's make tiles equals y, and this time it should go quick. You notice it's not starting at A. So I messed up here. Oh, airborne is a function. Let's go back into vim player.c. So at the end here, this needs to be airborne. Where else did we do airborne wrong? We did airborne wrong here. And what else was it complaining about? Was that it? Cannot convert airborne to bool. Cannot convert airborne to bool. So I think that's it. Let's try that again. Make tiles y. Expected primary expression before colon. Am I stupid? 4998. Oh, so at the end here, we did not have a colon. Let's try that again. I'm still stupid. Okay. You don't need a colon at all. Ha. Right? Like I said, I don't program C++. This is new. Alright, and notice we only had to compile this one file, plus the version, I don't know why. So let's do crawl. Send that to there. Play as a Feloid. So we're going to be making extensive use of wizard mode. You do that by typing your ampersand key. So let's start by setting, actually not, let's ampersand tilde to go to swamp, and swamp doesn't actually generate in this map normally, but we can still go there. So let's get rid of these enemies because we're still at level 1. So let's do ampersand G LOS for line of sight. And now there's nothing there. Let's try walking into this water. So, ouch, that really hurt. We have our engulf status, and we just took 3 damage. So let's get back out, rest up. Let's get rid of these guys. Let's keep doing that. Ampersand, capital G, LOS. Let's try walking back into the water. So we took 3 again that time. ampersand, capital G, LOS. That time we took 4. So that almost killed us. But if you're playing optimally, all you really need is that 1 HP. So that's about good for now. Return to the main game. Exit, exit, exit. Alright, so let's commit this change. Let's actually look at it first. Git diff. So this right here is bothering me. This is indicating we have some extraneous white space. So let's actually go and change that. That's on line 4955. vimplayer.cc 4955. 49, that was not the right place. Somewhere in here. 4995 maybe? I don't know where that was. It was right before, it was in move to location effects. Oh, no. Here. 4955, yeah. So that's in clear, far, and gulf. Clear, far, and gulf. So right here we have some spaces. See, I can move my cursor in there. So let's backspace those. And then git diff, and now we don't have any red bars here. That's good. And then those changes all work. So let's do git add player.cc, git commit tag m, Feloids are engulfed in shallow water. Alright, now we are ready to git push. Tech U origin master. Does not appear to be remote. Alright, so I'm gonna have to fix that. I'll do that off camera though. Basically what git push does is it puts your changes up into here. And it looks like somebody made some comments to crawl master. So I'm going to stop the recording here, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks.